Alex being with Cape Side Press, and I'm here with one championship featherweight champion, Ton Lee, who defends his title on December 4th against Garry Tonon. How are you?
Doing great, man. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Of course, man. How does it feel to be champion?
You know, not much has changed. Not really anything has changed. I got a cool shiny belt. That's about it. But it's nice. I tell you what, it is nice to know that all my matchups from here on out are going to be against the best guys. I think that was some of the things that bugged me before I got into one championship, just not able to face the toughest guys. And it's really a good feeling to have somebody that just wakes you up in the morning and motivates you to get in the gym and be better and hopefully go out there and get the W.
For sure, man, for sure. Before we even talk about your fight and what's coming up, I did want to touch on your title win. I guess what were your thoughts on your performance?
I was happy with a lot of things in that fight, and there were definitely some things I was unhappy with. So even though I was glad and grateful that it worked out that way, and I ended up winning the title against a tough champion who's held the belt for a really long time and held two belts at one time, almost three. So it was a good win for me, obviously. But I went into that fight with a really good mindset and just really good you know, internals as far as how I felt about the fight, how I was able to kind of let my things go. You saw a little bit more of me as a fighter. You still haven't seen the full package in the cage yet, but Martin pulled out the most that anybody has ever had to. So that was a really good feeling to have more of me come out in the cage. I think more and more is going to come out with every performance. I'm feeling better and better with where I'm at mentally and just where I'm at as far as my technical game and kind of mixing all of the different martial arts together. It's a really good feeling. And so, yeah, we had some things to take away, and I've been working for the last, I guess, for the first like 6 months after the fight, just making sure I patched up those holes. And, if we ever do see Martin again, which I'm sure he's going to win a few fights and be right back in the mix and come and try to take the belt. And we'll be ready for him.
What was the biggest takeaway from that fight?
Um, I think with that fight, being able to check the defenses that he's putting into play and being able to hit the open side, the available side. So, obviously I broke both my hands, well, one finger on my right hand and then three bones in my left hand for that last fight. And he was doing a good job of putting his forehead down and taking some shots on the dome instead of taking them on the face. Now, honestly, if he would have took any of those on the face, he would have had a seat. But he did a great job with his defenses, and he obviously prepared well for the fight. And then just being able to notice those things a little sooner, and maybe I'll save a couple broken bones in the process.
For sure, man. So you usually fight twice a year. I guess I wanted to ask, have you enjoyed having most of 2021 off, or would you have liked, I don't know, maybe to fight a little bit sooner?
No, not at all. It was all rehab and trying to get this finger right, so I can put some MMA gloves on, make a fist, and punch somebody. So it was kind of bittersweet. I did have some time, obviously, to spend with the family. My daughter was born, so that was awesome during that time, and obviously we've got to spend a lot of time together. So phenomenal experience there. But I would have loved to have been able to fight way more than I did so far this year. And but I am glad and grateful that I get to get in there December.
You brought it up. I want to ask you, how is dad life?
It's awesome. I have a 12-year-old, and he lives with his mom. And then now we have Mina, our newborn. She's 6 months, so it's definitely different going from boy to girl. Um, Little things change, which makes a big difference. But it's awesome as I expected it to be, but even better than you could ever imagine.
That's awesome to hear, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Um, has training camp already started for Garry?
I mean, training camp's been going on since I started MMA. I don't really take breaks like these guys talk about. I enjoy it. It's not like I'm working harder than them because I want to take off, and I'm just skipping through all that. I mean, of course, you run through days you don't want to be in the gym, but shit happens, and you push through it. But I enjoy it. If I knew I didn't have a fight at all this year, I would have still been in the gym the exact same amount of time. Um, camp comes around, so you miss things like Thanksgiving and Christmas and stuff like that, and you put that to the side until fight's over with. And I've done that plenty of times, so that's not a huge deal. But yeah, camp's been going on for a really long time. It's cool to be able to focus on Garry, and not Martin, obviously, who we had last fight. So you always have an idea who is up in the ranks, and my game stays very centralized on my skill set and what I can do well. But obviously, you have a little tweaks here and there for your opponent. So yeah, it's been fun having to focus on a certain guy and a certain skill set that he brings to the table, and game planning against that, and how to beat it.
Yeah. So I mean, Garry Tonon. I mean, I think every fan when they saw this matchup was like, "Oh my God, Tom Lee versus Garry Tonon! Holy shit!" What do you think of that matchup?
Um, I really enjoy this one. I think it's a very interesting fight. Obviously, if I saw this as a fan and not as somebody competing in it, it's the classic, striker versus grappler, old school mixed martial arts type of events, and it's really cool to be a part of 1X, first of all, with Mighty Mouse and Rod Tang having that fight, and jumping on that card and being able to be a part of that. But yeah, it's really cool to get this matchup because it does bring back some nostalgia with the striker versus grappler deal, and obviously he's a very, very high level grappler, and he's developing his striking. And I feel the opposite of that same coin. Very high level striker, and I've been working my grappling game for a really long time, and I feel like it's getting so much better. But obviously he's a superior grappler, I'm a superior striker, so we'll see how it plays out come December.
How do you think the fight plays out?
Without giving too much away, I think my forward pressure and my movement's going to be something that he hasn't seen before. I think he's used to people kind of being skittish and kind of backing away, and hopefully he doesn't take me down and get into my legs or whatever. But you gotta bring that fight to him. You've got to create opportunities. And if this is early in camp, but if we've got to make a little prediction, I think it goes on the feet for a decent amount of time. I think round one might not be the most exciting round on the planet, and then come round 2 or 3, I think he starts seeing how the fight's going, and tries to close the distance to either get into the legs or get a takedown. And I think that's where I put him out.
You've never been to a decision in your win or losses. What's that about? Are you kind of in the mindset where you don't get paid by the hour, or is it just, I mean, what is it?
It's I think on the winning side, obviously I take what is given, and a lot of times guys will present those openings, which obviously all of us present openings. Everybody's got holes in their game. I just happen to be I guess hardworking enough, and been in the game long enough and blessed enough to have come across the striking ability that I really only need to touch you once or twice. So you let that happen, and bad things usually happen to the other guy. So that's really cool. It works out well, as far as finishing rate and all that stuff goes. But works the other way too. On the losing side, it's kill or be killed, and I'm trying not to have any holes in the game, but they do exist, and then we try not to get put out ourselves. So it's definitely I'm not gonna ever. I'll probably never lose a decision. I'll go out there, put my neck on the line, and if I think I'm losing the fight, you're gonna get all of me, and you might knock me out, and you might put me to sleep. But I'm not gonna let it go to the judges' hands, man. I seen too many bad calls.
Yeah, I mean that's what kind of I was going to ask. I don't know if it was a dumb question, but like, say you're down 2 rounds or whatever, and you have to go to a finish. Are you going to put your, I guess, go out and either finish him or get finished yourself?
Yeah, that's the way it's gonna go, man. I like to be smart about the way I approach things, but that doesn't mean 100% safety is the way to go. Obviously, I'm trying to be as safe as possible, but I also want to kill you, so I've got to lower that safety level down and crank up the risk level a little bit if I'm behind on the rounds. You know what I mean? So yeah, if I'm down 2 rounds, down 3 rounds, down 4 rounds, you're gonna see me towards the end of the fight take risks. That's what you got to do. I believe I got to where I am for a reason, and I can't change who I am. I'm gonna go out there, bring the heat, bring the firepower, and one of us is gonna get hurt.
I mean, and I think that's why you're a fan favorite, and you are must watch television. I mean, there's a handful of fighters, and Tom Lee is must watch television every single time. Um, it is what it is.
Trying to put on a good show and entertain these fans and make a little money in the process, man.
Of course, of course. I just got a couple more questions for you, man. Is this fight with Gordon Ryan, is it 50-50 BJJ versus Gordon Ryan? Do you see
I
that?
uh, I hope I'm not fighting him. That's a big man. I'll fight Gary though. Gordon, I don't want no trouble, man. Get out of here. No, Gary's
50 BJJ versus Garry Tonon.
no, I don't. Obviously, I've learned a lot from Ryan Hall and his system and his gym and his coaches, his whole crew that down there. It's been a enormous, life changing part of my mixed martial arts and martial arts journey. But no, man, it ain't Libro striking versus whatever striking he represents. It's not 50-50. It's me versus him. One of us is going to hurt the other person and win a fight. So I don't really think about all that. I know it's a lot of fans like to do it. A lot of media likes to do it. I get it. It puts a little like skin in the game, but I've got enough skin in the game. My face is going to be in there. So I'm just thinking about my skill set. Obviously I want to do right by my friends and my family and the people who support me, but same old story. I'm gonna go in there, try to win, do my best, fight my heart out, and never quit.
Oh, and then finally, DJ versus Rotang, the mixed rules. What do you think of that?
I have no idea what to think of it. It's awesome though, man. I'm so glad I'm nowhere near the main event. I've got 2 fights until they go after I go. So whether some crazy shit happens in our fight, I'm gonna be next to a phone or a TV watching that one, man. That's gonna be exciting. I'm very interested because of the time, because of the rounds. Apparently, I hope I'm correct in saying this. It's 3-minute rounds, 4 rounds, I believe, and it alternates Muay Thai, MMA, Muay Thai, MMA. I've heard Mighty Mouse say that he's not trying to play it safe in the first round. I think he said he's going to go out there and test his skills. I know Mighty Mouse is a very smart man, so I don't think that's going to be the case, because if he does step up to Rod Tang and just decide to do a Muay Thai fight with him for 3 minutes, I don't think that's going to be pretty. But he makes it to the second round, I don't think that's going to be pretty either, because he's going to take him down and he's going to get into a dominant position. The issue there in his rounds is the time limit. That's 3 minutes of work. So it's not a ton of time. You can definitely sub somebody in 3 minutes, but Rod Tang's no slouch. I'm sure he's training mixed martial arts and working on his defense. So you never know. Obviously one of those variables that I said could have easily been changed, and Rod Tang might not think he gets out the first round and not practice any or focus all on takedown defense and no submission defense. You know what I mean? And then that fight's over in the second round if it makes it there. So it's going to be interesting. I have no prediction even close, so don't even ask. But I think it's going to be a really good fight. I'll tell you that. It's going to be entertaining, and my eyes are going to be glued to the TV, man.
Would you do a mixed rules like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think I would be cheating just a little bit compared to what Mighty Mouse has done. He's such a great mixed martial artist. He's not an elite striker, but it didn't matter because he mixed his arts so well. That's what made him one of the greatest of all time. I'm not as good at mixing it as Mighty Mouse is, obviously. but I think I am a higher level striker than he is. So if we do some type of Muay Thai and MMA, I think it would maybe cater to my skill set a little more to hit than his. I would definitely do it. I would enjoy it. I think that's really freaking cool. And if they did more of it, I'm down.
And then finally, is there a chance that you go up and get a double belt?
Oh, I'd love to. I've when I couldn't fight this year immediately, that was the next thing I wanted to do. Obviously, Christian's booked, and I was looking for a rematch with Martin. He's booked. I get it, but absolutely, if it's in the cards, if it's allowed, if there's a dotted line to sign on, my ass is signing that thing immediately. I heard Christian say he thinks he's the best mixed martial artist on the planet, and he definitely thinks he's the best one at one championship. I'd love to go up to his lightweight division and test that out. And dude's a great fighter. I think I'm better. He thinks he's better. That's why we need to fight.
For sure. And yeah, it's inevitable, and hopefully it'll happen down the line. Thank you so much for your time. If you want to plug your social media, plug your sponsors, the floor is yours.
I'm pretty much Tan Lee, MMA, everything. Instagram, Facebook page, Twitter, all that good stuff. So y'all check me out. Just want to give a shout out to a couple of companies. Go Lay Down. Thank you guys for supporting me. No Society. Y'all go check out my brother's fight shorts. Literally the best fight shorts I ever put on. Extend, Sell Your Core, and C4. Thank you guys for the support. I appreciate it. And yeah, we're good, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much.